Hey everyone, today I want to talk about the flow state, concentration, all the myths surrounding the present moment, and why it's very similar to sleep. You can put yourself in situations to create a better sleep environment, not compulsively, within balance. That will take some trial and error for many people. And the flow state, aka Wu Wei, I believe it's called, pronounced Wu Wei, a Taoist principle, which I believe is also intertwined with Eastern philosophies and the principles from Buddhism, but primarily Taoism, is not something that you can force. You can only put yourself in situations to be present, but you can't force it. And OCD and anxiety is no different, no matter what anyone tells you. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button down below. Thank you so much for helping us get to 20,000 members. I'm sure someday in our lives, this might have 100,000 or more. We'll see. Hopefully, we just keep pumping out content over and over and over again. It's something that is one of our missions. I'm very passionate about it. And I will make content until the day I close my eyes. And there is no more Nick. R.I.P. Nick Greystone. Maybe I want to be cremated. You know, my dad was cremated. I do think I have my dad in the necklace. And I almost lost it, so I just keep it in my room. Now, it was on one of these chains. But I think I want to be, I don't know what I want. I definitely want to be buried on top of a mountain. Like, because there's definitely that stuff. You see stuff like that on the top of these 14ers, for sure. Or ashes be spread. That's a weird way to start a concentration video. Anyway, so when I'm really focused on something, okay, this is a mistake I made all throughout my journey. Sensory motor, body dysmorphia, panic disorder, constant GAD. I had very, very, very bad GAD. I would say I was in the top 10% of horrendous physical anxiety. Shame and guilt, no, but physical anxiety was my best friend for a very, very long time. It was there from eyes open, sleep, 24/7. It didn't really go below a 5 out of 10, which is interesting, right? You hear people, they'll be like, I'm really stressed out right now. So easy to do this when you're going through OCD recovery and you're thinking, you have no idea what stress actually is. You know, it's also funny when you see these well-intentioned individuals on the big podcast talking about how stress kills. I heard someone on, I believe it was Rogan, where they said, I saw a clip, because people send me this stuff all the time, because I don't watch any of these podcasts and or any of those vlogs. And they said, your body cannot be in a constant state of stress for more than a week because you will just die. I'm like, oh God. But they don't, how would they know any better unless I gave it to them? The human body is very resilient. It's also very resilient to working against your desires. Desires, in my opinion, I think Epicurus got this wrong. Okay, Epicureanism, which was one of the main schools that they did fight with Stoicism, but it was just going on around the same time period, where they considered, and I think Stoics do as well, desires is bad. I don't think that's accurate. Desires are great. They're similar to goals. If you have a goal, you have a desire to hit your goal. The problem is the expectation and the demand to hit those desires. That's the difference. So you could say, I have a desire to have a $10 million grossing business. That's my goal. I'm going to work at it hard. But if you expect that to happen because of the hard work you put in, where people go wrong with concentration, we're going to talk about all this, then you're in trouble. So where do people go wrong with this? If I meditate, this is why I'm iffy on meditation. Is meditation bad for you? No. Can it be used compulsively? Absolutely. Is it necessary to live a good life? Absolutely not. I think the principles of Stoicism are much more important than meditation. Don't get me wrong. There's intertwining philosophies in there, but I know a lot of people that meditate 20 minutes a day and have a lot of problems in their life. A lot of problems. So it's not what people think. So I'm going to meditate 20 minutes a day and that's going to make me more present. No, it won't. No, it won't. Because you still have a belief of, if I'm not present, if I can't work at my best, if I can't have Wu Wei, the present moment, then my life is horrible, over, and this is the worst thing ever. Your beliefs are the driver in the car. Meditation, concentration techniques, those are all in the back seat. Those are in the ashtray, those are in the cups, those are in the trunk. They're all in the small places. They're important to a degree, but again, you can't expect that to be the driving principle in changing your beliefs about your deeply held rigid beliefs. Your fears, your deeply held rigid fears. So how do I get myself an opportunity? How do I give myself an opportunity to practice being present? Right now I'm making a video and I'm doing nothing else. It doesn't mean my dogs can't interrupt me because they're downstairs and I have a neighbor that just got a new Rottweiler puppy, so they bark at the window and that can bring me out of the moment. But I'm not afraid of that. This idea that you're in a state to where there's no distraction is also not real. Now, I think if we went back and we brought the original Taoists alive, they would agree with everything I'm saying. That's a total guess. They would say, of course, you can't force it in that sense. You could just practice it in a balanced way. But that's not the way that OCD sufferers, anxiety sufferers, and modern day people think. You hear a lot of people talk about Epicurus completely incorrectly. They say, oh, he was someone that was all about instant gratification and pleasures. No, he's not. He had the three areas, the three belief systems on what was not, you don't ever, I think it was called not desirable and never needed, all the way up to basically minimalism and how he lived. Sitting in the garden, having a piece of cheese and a wine. I almost never hear people explain Epicurus correctly, ever. And it's understandable because we take things over 2,000, 3,000 years. It's like the game telephone. And we just get skewed. But when you read original, at least what we think is original text from Epicurus, it really is the first modern minimalism. I have a lot of people who disagree with me on this. That's completely okay. This is my perception and what I see. And I'm always up to a good discussion. So, but these individuals, when you put yourself in a garden with an individual and you just have a glass of wine and maybe some cheese and bread, you can have life distractions, but you're not multitasking and doing a million things at once. So I try to do one thing at a time, okay? Of course I'm at multitasking. I live in today's world. I listen to music at the gym. That's a definition of multitasking. But I don't go and check my phone in my bag unless my music stops. When I'm on calls, I'm not checking messages. So if you're all the people that work with me, if you're messaging me, I wait until the call I'm on is done for respect for that person and a good habit for me in order to answer. And when I'm really deep in a conversation, when I'm really deep into a music festival or spending time with my wife, because I tend to be very into the moment in these music festivals, music is extremely important to me. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not thinking at the music festival, how do I create Wu Wei? How do I create concentration in the present moment? So you go on TikTok and you have all these well-intentioned individuals that are saying, these are the 5 biggest tips and tricks to increase your concentration. No, the stupid, simplicity and straightforwardness and common sense, which isn't that common, is usually the best option, but that has consistency and long-term application, which people do not like. I didn't like it. I hated it. There are no tips and tricks to increase your concentration. All you have are opportunities, as I said now repeatedly multiple times in this video, to give yourself the ability to be in a present flow state. And by the way, I don't use these terms. I'm only using this for the video and for people that love this. You know, if I wanted to get very in touch with the mountains, I probably would keep my phone off in my bag, no music whatsoever, and just allow myself to experience it, whatever happens inside the walking mind. Thoughts, images, sensation, urges. But if I go to a hike and say, I must enjoy this hike, I must be present, I'm going to be in really big trouble. So again, trying to decrease multitasking, allowing it to come naturally. What does this sound familiar to? The feelings of connection with humans. It's the same thing. Any video titled, how to force connection, how to get closer to your partner, they're all misleading. You can only put yourself into situations to hopefully, okay, preferably, get that to happen. But any amount of trying to focus on that is a problem. Focus, 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 focus. Your brain doesn't operate that way. It's not in your control at all. What is in your control? Not multitasking. Trying to do one thing at a time. Letting things flow in that sense as you change your beliefs about concentration. That's number one. I mean, it's the most important. But the last thing I wanted to talk about was if you could get inside my mind when I'm on a call and I'm really in a good groove. Maybe I'm talking about something very personal to me. Dealing with sensory motor while building a business. There's plenty of people I work with who are business owners and have sensory motor OCD. And I'm in a really good quote unquote flow state. I'm not thinking about how important it is that I'm going to be in that flow state. That thought doesn't even cross my mind. Because if I'm not concentrated, if I'm not in the present moment, it doesn't bother me. I use a really funny example to end it with. Think about all the times you've been having sex with someone, one night stand, a partner, you know, a husband, a wife, a fiance, whoever, and you've been thinking, did I turn that light off in the kitchen? Did I put the lid on that properly? What are we having for dinner tomorrow? Oh man, damn it, I forgot to do the kids' wash. As you're having sex, literally, or you're with a boss or an employee, they're having a very important conversation. Take Ray Dalio for an example. Maybe Ray Dalio was doing a $500 million deal. Okay? $500 million. What was Bridgewater's, assets? 190 billion? Or Berkshire Hathaway? You don't think there's been times where Warren Buffett's been in the meeting and thought, oh, God, I'm so hungry. Oh my gosh, I'm starving right now. As the person is like, this is the data, this is that. Oh my God, what was I doing? I was so unconcentrated. No, focus. That's not how the brain works, no matter how much you try and force it, especially for us. Thank you again for watching. Let me know what you think. Please reach out, phil@ocdrecovery.com. I can help you break this down. I can help shed light on all the myths. All of it. There is a bunch, a lot. Anything titled, How to Increase Your Concentration, don't even click on it. It's not worth it. Because every time I do, it's about do these things and you will be more concentrated. No. Do these things and you will give yourself an opportunity to be more concentrated, but you can't control your concentration any more than you can control the clouds floating in the sky. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.